Hey, what's up arty people? My name is Julie and welcome to my art channel. In today's video, I want to show you guys how to make your very own monochromatic watercolor bookmarks. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a color. And I think to start with, I'm going to do like a little green forest. I never use this color, so why not? And then I'm going to mix my lightest shade of green. I'm going to use more water than paint. You always want to work lightest to darkest in watercolors in general because watercolors are transparent, but also when you do monochrome, it's just so much easier to go lightest to darkest. You can always darken things, but you can't always relighten them. That's good enough. I'm gonna make my corners a little bit darker and the edges just a little bit darker than the center to give it a feel of depth. And while we wait for that one to dry a little, we can move on to our next bookmark. I think for this one, I want to use, let's use blue. I like blue. Blue. Again, I'm gonna wet my paper. For this one though, I think I'm gonna do a mountain scene, so I'm only gonna wet half my paper. And I'm going to go in with my lightest shade of blue. And I'm just going to do the sky for this one. And while those dry, I guess we can go on to our next one. For most of these, well, pretty much for all of these, I'm going to be using a wet on wet technique. So there's going to be quite a bit of dry time. Let's use purple. Purple. Find a new place to put my coffee. I think this one might be a mountain scene too. Yeah, let's make this one a mountain scene. I'm gonna wet the paper. I pre-measured my paper before starting this, and each of these bookmarks will be 2 inches by 6 inches with a white border. You can make yours however, whatever size you want to. This is just kind of my standard bookmark size. Again, lightest shade first. A lot of this is going to be a lot of repetition. I'm going to do a little bit of a gradient in this sky. See if we can give it a sunset feel with the darker pink at the bottom. Okay. Next, I think we'll do another forest. Let's use this blue-green. I'm gonna wet the whole piece this time. Maybe we can make this one a fun little ocean scene. Yeah, let's do that. My pink has a little bit too much water, so I'm just gonna pick up some of that. Okay, next, maybe a darker green. Do a forest. And then our last one might be fun to do like a little sky scene, maybe with some clouds. So let's take, this is like an orangish. Yeah, let's use this kind of orangish red color. I think we'll do like some sunset clouds on this one over here. Okay, now our first one should be dry enough to go in with the second layer. I think so. For this one, I'm going to wet the paper again. I'm going to add a bit more paint to this to darken it up a bit. That maybe darkened it up too much. I just want to go over the edges, give it kind of a vignette feeling, which will add to the depth. This one kind of needs to be completely dry, so I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun. Might as well go over all of them. Since this is gonna be mountains, we're gonna use a glazing technique and go in with darker and darker shades to build up kind of like a rolling hills feeling to it. In order to keep the colors from blending together, it needs to be completely dry. Let's do our first. Bring it all the way down. And we'll darken our palette a bit more. We'll do the next mountain. Might even have to darken it just a little bit more. The farther away something is from you, the lighter and less saturated it is. And then the closer they come, the darker and more vibrant they become. So we're gonna follow that exact same method all the way down until we've got our darkest shade of blue and all the mountains that we want. So I'm just gonna go ahead and speed through that so you guys don't have to sit and watch me do the exact same thing again and again and again. I think I've pretty much finished up this one. I really like how the mountains are looking. I'm gonna go in and darken the sky a little bit at the very top. I'm gonna get it wet again. And then maybe we can pop in a couple of clouds too. To do clouds, all we're gonna do is take a tissue or a piece of paper towel and blot up where the color is while the paint is still wet. And while that's still wet, we're just gonna pop in a few fluffy little clouds. There you go. So that's one monochromatic bookmark done. And then I'm gonna use a different brush and draw in a few trees. These are starting to feel an awful lot like vines to me. Maybe it'll just be a viney jungle instead of a forest. Alright, now while that dries, we can move on to this one. And this one is just gonna be, it's basically gonna be the same as this. I'm gonna try to get like a sunset feel in here with my one color and then do a couple of rolling hills. I'm just going to speed through this one since we've already seen it on the blue one. try to do the darker sky. So basically opposite of this. I'm gonna get it a little bit wet. And then I'm gonna use the darkest shade that I already had.
Next level,
All right. Now let's move on to this underwater one. This one's gonna be super simple. Not everything has to have as many layers or be as complex as how I've done these ones. So for this underwater one, we're gonna go from this light straight into a much darker tone. We're gonna create kind of like a cavern, ravine thing, I think that's what they're called. Like an underwater ravine. And applying the darkest shadows to the very outer edge, so that we still get a little bit of depth. Alright, we'll let that one dry.
next level.
And maybe we'll move on to this green one. I think I want to do some evergreen looking trees on this one, so I'm going to use a much smaller brush and I'm going to layer them kind of the same way that I did these.
Next level.
I'll let those ones dry and go back to this one. Still using my smallest little brush here. And we're going to go in with, again, a darker color. More paint. And I'm not going to wet it this time because I want these ones to really stand out. We could put a little figure down here, maybe a little person walking through these vines. I like it as it is, so I like how simple and just kind of wavy it is, so I'm going to leave that as it is. I guess now we'll move on to our last bookmark here, which is our orange one. So I want to do kind of like a gradiated cloud look on this one, or gradient cloud look on this one. So I'm gonna, again, start with my lightest, but we're not really gonna layer too much for these. I'm gonna start up here, just kind of make some little clouds. And the clouds will get darker as they go down. There you go, and there's that. This one's probably the simplest of all of the bookmarks, but I really love the way that it looks, especially when it's dry. You can really see the difference in the shades from the top to the bottom. So let that dry. I think those are dry. I'm going to darken my palette here for the green. Not by a lot, but... to dry again. And we can move back to this ocean one. So I'm actually gonna sketch out maybe some little critters here, some little fishies. So it looks like we're looking towards the surface of the water, and we'll see these little schools of fishies. They're not gonna be very detailed. Alright, I think that's good enough. And then we'll just use, straight from the pen, the darkest shade of this blue that we can get. There's one little school of poorly drawn fish. In case you're wondering how I drew the little fishies, I did it the same way your first grade teacher taught you how to draw fishies, which is just like the little, you know, loop-de-loop, and then you connect the fins. That's how I draw my fish. I'm gonna say that one's good enough for me. Alright, so now we just need to finish this one, and then our bookmarks will be good to go. Sorry guys, my camera died again and it didn't tell me, so I added 2 more trees to this one, and then I think I'm going to go in with the darkest now, and we will be done. So just one more super dark tree. And there we go. I'm going to dry that real quick, and then we will form these bookmarks. So here are our 6 bookmarks. You can cut these out. I prefer to tear them. I really like the way the rough edge looks on a bookmark, so I'm just going to tear these, and we will go over them one by one. Here are our 6 monochromatic bookmarks. I think this one, and this one have got to be my favorites. I just love these 3 colors, and I really love the way that they look together too. But tell me, leave a comment down below. Tell me which one was your favorite, and if you have any requests and or ideas for future bookmarks or future tutorials, I would really love to hear anything you have to say. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really liked it, please subscribe for more art videos every Tuesday and Saturday. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!